well. So, Frank, you unanimous, or you like the newer one, more simple?
Oh, someone else is on mute now.
Frank is on mute.
All
you
right.
guys, everyone's muted.
Four.
You guys,
4 for 4. I agree.
okay. We agree. The 1998 to 2001, a little bit more vibrancy, a little bit more color, a little bit more ferocious, and a little bit more defined as well. I think. I don't know. This one looks like an old Predator. This
Hey, yellow, like I don't understand yellow. It's like, does that have to do with the Predator? You know.
Well, and they've had many patches along the way, so we got a little bit more choices here on the patches. So, Frank, start us off on this one. Any of these patches you look at and go, yeah, that's pretty cool to put on a jersey?
No. None.
No?
None of the above. That's my vote, man. My vote.
Okay. How about you, old man Fred? Anything stand out for you for a patch for the Predators, recognizing their 25 years in the league?
Yeah, I think so. I think, but it's not for the Predators. It's at 5 fantastic years. It pretty much sums up my first marriage, to be honest with you. So 5 really strong years. But in all seriousness, I don't know. You know what? I like the 10 one more than the 25. So I'd go with the 10, 98 to 2008.
Okay. Mucker says the 20-year one looks like the Wise Chip potato logo. We don't have Wise Chips up here in Canada, so not familiar with that.
Looks like an owl.
Yeah, it does look like an owl. Yeah,
it is an owl thing. Yeah.
Ben, which one you like?
The first one. I like the first one. It's more badge looking, I think.
The inaugural season.
Yeah, the inaugural. Okay. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to go with the Roman numerals. I don't know. I think Roman numerals always look a little classy, so I'll go the 15-year anniversary of the Predators. Man, I can't believe we're getting old, guys, because 25 years plus the Predators have been around. So there you go. Very simple today. Next week we'll have, we'll get into the New Jerseys and New Yorks and Islanders, teams with a much deeper history coming up. So we'll have more to look at.
Is Jersey going to include the Colorado Rockies, or is that going to be part of the Avalanche?
No, I think it'll be part of the Colorado.
Yeah, because I think the Avalanche, you had the Nordiques, right? So
yeah,
we already did the team. Okay, cool. That's gonna be.
So
hey, we should do the last one when we run out of teams, because I don't know from September to June how many episodes there are, but I think I mentioned this in the past. You should do one for all the teams that don't exist anymore. You know.
Well, Boiled Egg is ahead. He mentioned that about 15 seconds ago. Teams like Kansas City, Cleveland, California.
What are we going to do when we get to
ahead of me? We don't know. I think I mentioned it 5 podcasts ago.
Okay, well, the moment we've all been waiting for, Frank the Tank Revilla is upon us. And Frank, I think
are you ready?
Yeah, ready as we can be.
All right, this is going to be a defenseman heavy questionnaire, but not for the first question. All right, you all ready? I know you don't have any fucking markers because apparently it's too hard for you to get actual real markers. This is a marker, big black letters. But anyways, all right. So, name the rookie or rookies with the most assists in NHL history. Because we all know who has the goals.
So, rookie year, most assist.
Is it too easy to go Gretzky?
He wasn't a rookie officially.
Yeah, technicalities.
I'm gonna go Yuri Curry.
Next, Eric, go.
I can't remember his name. The guy who played in Winnipeg who won the
Solani?
Yeah, Solani.
Yeah, he has the most goals, but not
I
assists.
thought he had the assist too. Okay.
Finn, did you Google?
No,
You look like it's your name.
I want to say coffee, but you said the first one's not defensive, so I'll screw it. We'll go with coffee.
All right. And all right. So this is pretty cool. The first one, you're all going to say, all right, that makes sense. Peter Stastny.
Oh.
And now you have people who've actually Googled it. So in the chat. So boiled egg, the cheater. Joey
You didn't
Juno.
say Stastny? Oh, Joey Juno was tied. Okay.
Yeah, Joey Juno, which is a what?
Never even heard of the guy.
His career, yeah, exactly. He was in Boston, etc. So he was like, but he has the record. There's a two-way tie for the record. So Peter Stastny, which okay, Hall of Famer, but Joey Juno. So that's no, my trivia is also to you learn little tidbit facts, etc. All right. Next question. Leo Remus, Joey Joni, because he did play with the Cap, so maybe Boiled Eggs already knew it.
Yes. To be fair for Boiled Egg, he put Larry Murphy and Joe Juno, two Capitals players. So,
all right. So next question.
Next step.
So this is a bit better. You don't have to name anybody. You just have to give a number. How many defensemen have 1,000 assists in their careers? All right, now we're going to go fast. Ryan, go.
4.
Eric, go.
3.
7.
Price is right. You're all wrong. There's only Leo. Leo's on Google. I don't trust that guy.
Frank, there are people that know hockey out there besides you.
Yeah, but I know. Come on. Nobody would have guessed only 2.
Well, Leo did. Congratulations, Leo.
Yeah, Leo.
He's Googling. No,
He's a Maple Leaf fan, so.
and the 2 are
Ryan Leach.
Ryan's boy, Coffee,
Paul Coffey.
and Ray Bork is the other one. So whoever you mentioned is not part of the 2. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, this is an easy one. Easy. Which D has the most career goals in his career? Glenn, go.
Career goals for a defenseman. Larry Murphy.
Eric,
Bobby Orr.
Finn.
Yeah, I go with Bobby Orr.
God, man, that was easy. It was your boy, Ryan. It's again.
come on.
Coffee. He's got the most goals in the season, 48, man. I thought for sure one of you was going to get that. He has 396. Imagine how many fours don't score 300. Fussmucker. Fussmucker is giving the finger to Ryan with Darnell Nurse. But let's just think about Coffey's career. 396 goals. How many forwards don't even score that in their career? That's quite amazing. So that's why I asked the question, but I expected one of you to get it. All right. Next question. We're staying on topic of goals and defensemen. Who has the most career hat tricks in their career for D's, for defensemen? All right. Ryan, stop laughing. Go.
Coffee?
All right. Well, you asked 396, so that's a good guess. Eric.
Coffee.
Glenn.
Brian Leach.
You and your Brian Leach.
Oh, Glenn, you're so disappointing, man. You're a fucking fan of the Bruins, man. And you fumbled this. It's Bobby Orr.
Wow.
And he has 9 career hat tricks. And the next guy has 5. So he's almost double the next guy. So Bobby Orr. All right. So the next 2 questions are related. Now we're going hardcore. Are you ready?
Yeah.
And this is a Price is Right
Henry
again.
and Maurice Richard. Henry and Maurice Richard.
It's defenseman again. It's a D.
You said
defense.
related. Okay.
Yeah, but the next two questions are related. Okay? And it's Price is Right. You have to bid without going over. How many times has a defenseman scored more than 3 goals in a game in the history of the NHL? We're going to start with Eric this time.
So we're just looking for a number, I take it.
Yes. How many times in the history of the NHL has a defenseman scored more than 3 goals?
152.
Ryan.
21.
All right. Glenn.
33. Quatre-Croix.
All right. So you're all eliminated. At least we have some competitors in the chat. So 0 is not correct. Boiled Egg has 3. Well, that's at least under. Leo has 8. Pretty freaking close. So the answer is 10 times. All right.
Probably by
And-
4 players?
Hey, that's the next question. That's the next question. That's why it's related. But Boiled Egg does have the guy who has the record. And Eric, that's a homage to you. The great, legendary Ian Turnbull has the actual record. So we'll touch on that after. How many defensemen have scored more than 3 goals in a game?
4.
4 for Glenn. Eric.
3.
Ryan.
1.
You know the Price is Right when you have 2 people giving a super low answer. You just go 1 over and you win. You went with $1 bid when people were bidding $50 on a fucking Rolex watch. So no, there's not one defenseman did 9 times more than 4 goals. So the answer is, let's go see. Nobody fucking answered in the. So the answer is actually 8. Because only 2 defensemen have done it twice. And Turnbull is one of them because Turnbull has the record. Only 1 defenseman has scored 5 goals in a game, Ian Turnbull. But he also scored 4. And then I believe there's a guy from the 1920s or whatever that scored again twice. But yeah, so 8 players. And Coffee only did it once.
Okay, Frank. We're going to turn the tables. Boiled Egg has asked me to give you a trivia question. See your hockey knowledge. So we're going to turn it around. Frank, name the 3 NHLers that have the most empty net goals.
Ovechkin, Gretzky. Ovechkin has the record. He just did it. Gretzky, he beat. And who would be the next one? Fuck. Who would be the next one? Empty netters. That's got to be recent.
Oh, that was Fussmucker.
Yes, Jagger. Jagger. At least I have 2 out of 3.
All right, Fussmucker. Who is the third one? Let us know. You're right on Ovechkin and Gretzky.
Yeah, that I know for sure.
Coming in at number 3 was
Oh.
Hossa.
Oh.
Wow, I never would have guessed him.
yeah.
Wow.
That
Okay.
wasn't order.
Thank you, Fussmucker, for the.
I guess Ottawa, he was there while they were good. Then he went to Chicago while they were good because you have to be on a good team to do empty net, obviously.
Okay, next up is our stories of the week where you guys are going to focus. You're going to choose one each. Old man Fred, you're going to get to go first, but let me tell you what options you have to choose from. And then you can't choose the same one later on. So we've got, first of all, story number 1, the Vancouver Canucks, number 1 in the league right now, keeping it rolling. above the Bruins and everyone else. They have the best record in hockey. Number 2, Connor Bedard, scheduled to come back possibly next week after his broken jaw. Number 3, the Pens apparently are shopping. Tarasenko, Zucker, Olofsson could all be options for the Penguins to buy. Number 4, we just celebrated the 58th anniversary of the NHL doubling in size from 6 to 12. So kind of reflecting on those 6 teams that were added. Number 5, just the Super Bowl. Just your thoughts on the Super Bowl. Or number 6, the second half of the schedule where we see some teams have 5-4 game differences and how that might impact them going. Is it an advantage to have to play more or a disadvantage going late in the season? So old man Fred, which one do you want to focus on?
Well, sorry, Finn, but I'm going to take the Oiler one. The fact that they only have, well, I think 46 games now. I think they've played, right, or 47 maybe. So, but when I was looking over the Oilers' schedule, they're playing like about 3 to 4 games a week, and that's heavy. And it's coming. Now, here's the good news: they were so crappy in the first month and a half. Thank God they didn't have a lot of games because they would have lost them. Frankly, ask Vancouver, they'll tell you. So, but yeah, when I look at the Oilers, and I think I counted 4 back-to-backs in this 6-week section that we have, and that's a lot, and that scares me a bit because. Well, yeah, they're a tad bit fragile, a little bit. And although last week I was like, yeah, this is going to be great. They've got a lot of games to make up. Well, when you're making them up over such a short amount of time, I don't know if that's so great, to be brutally honest. And God help you if there's an injury, because, a 3-week injury now becomes so many games compared to, when it's a little bit more spaced out. So I'm fearful for the Oilers a little bit. I'm glad as a hockey fan because I got something to watch every second night. But, yeah, it's a little bit frightening, I think, for the Oil and their schedule.
Yeah, you mentioned the back-to-back games. We have back-to-back with, 19th, 21, 23rd, and 24. That's a huge stretch. They play back-to-back Minnesota, Calgary. Then they play Seattle, Pittsburgh back-to-back. They have Buffalo, Pittsburgh back-to-back, and I think there was even one more as well. So, there it is, Toronto and Ottawa. They play back-to-back. So you're right. In the next month and a bit, they play a lot of hockey, and always curious if it helps get on a bit of a roll, another roll, or if it just wears them out before the playoffs, because the playoffs are not too long after that. Okay. Next up, and then after we go through 4 of them, you guys can chime in on some of the other ones if you want. Finn, grab a story there.
Yeah, Pittsburgh. They've been so good for so long. They've been sweeping every little bit of dust off that shelf to try to be competitive year after year, and now it's time to restock the shelves, and that usually means getting rid of all the talent. So, oh wait, not Pittsburgh. Did you say Pittsburgh or you say Ottawa?
No, Pittsburgh buying. Pittsburgh being a buyer with Sidney Crosby nearing the end of his career.
Well, I don't know. I guess with Sidney Crosby, you got to try to buy. I don't know. They're going to be hurting for years after Sidney Crosby's gone, and I don't think he has. Even though he seems to be doing better, I don't think he has it in him to really carry a team. And I don't think Pittsburgh really has a lot to give away to get players in. So I don't know. I think they're better off just staying pat this year, maybe collecting a little bit of prospect depth, and then maybe try again next year. But he's getting old, and I don't think he's carrying the team like he used to. So yeah, I don't know, risky decision, but maybe hard to say no to.
Frank, what do you want to focus in on the board there?
You decide for me. They all suck.
Well, not the Vancouver Canucks. Okay, give the Vancouver Canucks some love because really no one saw them being first in the league. I know Finn picked them for the playoffs or a bubble team, but not first in the league in dominance. So what's the secret sauce for Vancouver?
Well, we talked about it. It started last year with Ronek, the Ronek trade. So they trade Horvat around the same time as they traded for Lindholm, but they trade Horvat to the Islanders, use the first round pick to get Ronek. Then earlier this year, because we all said their D was American League D except for Hughes, but like everybody was miscast. So Ronek was the first piece, Zadorov. Then they've bought Lindholm, and they're still buying. So whatever we said in the offseason, just with Zadorov, who's a great third pairing, and Lindholm, which is 2C basically on Vancouver. And if they get Tanev or whatever the D they're going to get next, that means like half their D is not the same as they had at the beginning of last season. So kudos to them. They're doing the Seattle dance, where everybody is having their career season. Like Miller had 99 points a couple of years ago. He's probably going to beat that. So even for him, a career season. But everybody's having a career season. And we've seen Seattle this year when that doesn't happen. So sometimes that's what you need, the stars to align, where everybody is producing at the same time. So, and Demko had a terrible year last year. And even him, he's on fire. So like everything is clicking, you know. Ronek career year, Hughes career year. Just go down the list. Demko career. Susi, who was in Seattle and Minnesota, he was producing before his injury. Like Elias Peterson, Baser, Miller, like everybody. It's crazy. And Seattle, it was the same last year. McCann had 40 goals? He was a castaway. So yeah, and I don't think it's not like, they'll come back to earth. Ryan's going to be end the season. He's going to be able to pat himself on the back, having Vancouver in the playoffs, because they're not going to be in the playoffs. They're probably going to be a top seed playing at home, but it's not the same. It's not going to be the same team because they're going to buy some more. They're not finished buying. So hats off to them. I love when Canadian teams surprise upwards, you know? Yeah. So we have one more contender. So that's cool.
Finn will be able to tip his hat, but he might have to do that wearing a Calgary Flames jersey.
Correct. Well, they lost tonight, but who knows? So Blackhawks, the Super Bowl. I know we have the image, but that was stupid.
Well, we'll talk about we're going to make that a bigger segment here. We'll talk about that. And Pop Stongoria doesn't want us to talk about the Super Bowl because the San Francisco 49ers took
Can I touch on Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
Okay. So Pittsburgh's in an interesting situation. Guentzel is a UFA, unrestricted free agent at the end of the year. He refused a jumbo contract over $7 million a year, long term. So he's in the rumors to trade away. But at the same time, Riley Smith, which I got from Vegas for a song, was a worthy gamble, $5 million a year. He's not doing shit. Raquel, who was a consistent 20-goal scorer, lots of shots on goal, etc., from Anaheim, he's not doing shit either. They both make $4 million, whatever. It doesn't matter. So if they can get rid of those two contracts, then people say, Guentzel, they're going to sell them for picks. And no, then they're going to make a hockey trade where they might get somebody that is actually signed long-term. And I'm just spitballing, but like if Guentzel says, yes, I'll sign with this new team because they're offering me 8.5, like a trade like Timo Myers, who is not clicking in New Jersey, Guentzel to New Jersey for Timo Myers, and then Pittsburgh can go all in. Things like that type of trade, But don't think Guentzel is. Look, he's got what 51 points in 49 games. He's not going to be traded for prospects, but they're probably going to trade if you go down the list. Riley Smith, 21 points in 43 games, and Rackle, 18 points in 35. If they can dump those two, and then have the cap space, and Guentzel is a lot lower, so then there's going to be a hockey trade because Guentzel is a blank check type of, people are going to want this guy and they're going to pay whatever. So that would be a hockey trade. And they're not thinking about the future, Ryan. They're trying to win now. They went all in with Carlson. Takes a while for people to get used to their new teams, but it's just their top six sucks because Malkin is producing, Crosby is producing, Brian Russ is a little bit below average, but they have no wingers. Like Rackle, Riley Smith were supposed to be top six. They're not. So they have to shake things up. And Guentzel is actually producing, but he doesn't want to re-sign. If they can make that a hockey trade, they'll do it, and they'll keep going all in until Crosby and Gino retire. They have no choice.
Yeah, I think what you're saying is if Guentzel agrees to a contract with the team they're going to trade him to, they can make that hockey trade. Yeah, because he won't re-sign in Pittsburgh. They're
I don't know why, but I guess maybe he wants. Some hockey players they sacrifice a couple of mil to win, but maybe he says maybe he knows he's not going to win there, so he's just saying no, like Hannafin and Calgary. They offered him $7.5 million a year, and he said no. It's like maybe he just sees the tea leaves and he goes, whatever, I don't care. Trade me. I want to be traded. So, but whoever they bring in is not going to be a chump. It's going to be a good hockey trade.
But Frank, you said they don't have any wingers, but you might have forgotten they got Jesse Puljujärvi.
2 years.
That's Ryan's favorite player.
All right, old man Fred, anything else you want to talk about from the stories on the board here? Anything you want to address?
Yeah, I just wanted to address the six teams when they.
Yeah, he remembers.
Yeah, when they doubled them in. I was looking. So I did not know that St. Louis was in the Stanley Cup Finals 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
Of course, Montreal beat them twice, and Boston destroyed them in 1970. And what was the NHL thinking? That we'll take all these expansion teams, we'll guarantee them a shot, as crappy as they are, because they weren't, trust me, these weren't Vegas. And put them against the traditional teams.
Yeah, they put them in the same division.
Yeah.
And it was one division versus the other one.
Yeah, and Boston, I just read recently that Boston one, like their games were, I realize there's the Bobby Orr overtime goal. That's pretty famous, right? Because he flies through the air. But those other games were blowouts. And what a rip as an NHL thing. So whatever they were thinking back then, I feel sorry for the expansion teams. St. Louis obviously was the best, but my God, that sure was bad. Now,
and who was the coach? Who was the coach in St. Louis?
I think it was the Montreal guy. Can't remember his name.
Scotty.
The winningest coach, yeah, Scotty.
No, Scotty Bowman. That's where he made his chops, and that's what got him the job in Montreal for his Hall of Fame career because of that rule.
Yeah, and I was just, so by 71, it had changed because Montreal met the Blackhawks, and yes, I do remember it. Tony Owen net and stuff like that. So, but Montreal won in 4 games, 4-3. So thank God they figured it out. But yeah, when I see these old logos, California Golden Seals makes me smile. But just how, I don't know, just management-wise, it was a stupid move.
Where did California go to? Didn't they go to, was it Cleveland?
The Cleveland Barons, you think?
Was it
Maybe.
California, Cleveland, and then they were out? Like they didn't go anywhere else, or did they
Well, we were
become?
talking about Kansas City. Kansas City went to Colorado and then went to Jersey. Is that?
Yeah,
You
yeah. I
know,
think
Yeah,
Cleveland.
we
just folded.
really need to figure out what happened to the Golden Seals because they're responsible for Guy Lafleur coming to Montreal.
Oh,
that's a good point.
You
Yeah.
didn't remember that, Glenn?
Yeah, I
yeah,
do.
yeah. It was.
In Montreal, they're embedded in the historical, and by the way, the reason why in 71, it was only for a certain number of years
Oh,
that
okay.
that conference was guaranteed a Stanley Cup. That's why they paid low extra expansion fee, but they were guaranteed X number of years to be at least in the Stanley Cup finals, even though they might have been the 6th or 7th best team in the NHL.
Okay.
I forgot there was a team in Oakland for a while. So California, Oakland, then Cleveland.
Wow.
And,
I
then they
didn't.
merged with Minnie. Yeah.
Minnesota.
Okay.
Wow.
Oh, thank you to Boiled Egg for that one. That's good news.
And the look of the hockey player back then, I don't know if that was the slap shot kind of look back then, and it was just
the
great.
Flyers Stanley Cup champion ones, like with Reggie Leach with his long hair and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's really funny. So
Okay, we do have a few games going on tonight, so let's check in on the NHL scoreboard. The Devils beat the Kraken at home. The Rangers shut out the Flames. The Flyers, the Flyers beat the Coyotes.
They
And
came
then
back.
a little later-
They
Yeah.
came back. They were losing.
Those Flyers.
Well, I'm happy you all said fiction on my question or fake news last week. So maybe that'll bite you in the ass. So the Flyers are so streaky. They win 5 straight. They lose 5 straight. Now they're on a winning streak. Who knows what they're going to do? It's all going to depend on what Briere does as a GM. If he starts selling off pieces, it's like Montreal, Calgary went on a 4-game winning streak after selling Lindholm. So who knows what's happened?
Okay, Frank, is Torts a Final 3 Coach of the Year candidate?
No, not
Why
even
not?
close.
10th in the league right now for a team that had nothing?
No. Tocchet is a top 3. What Montgomery is doing in Boston, nobody had Boston. And I remember what's his name in Florida. He was a Winnipeg coach.
yeah.
Bonus?
No.
No.
He was the coach in Winnipeg.
Oh, yeah.
Paul Maurice.
Maurice, yeah.
To me, those are the 1, 2, 3. No, sorry, but even though it's surprising, Boston is more surprising. Vancouver is unbelievable. So you got to give props to Tocchet and Paul Maurice, Florida. They qualified 8th in their conference. They were the last seed last year. And
I disagree. I think Torts needs to be there. No one expected Philadelphia to be in the top 10, above 500 this late into the season. I know
win the Jack Adams in February, dude, man. Wait till the end of the year.
I said right now, Frank, as of right
Even
now,
right now, man.
He's in the conversation.
Oh, who do you take out? Who do you take out?
Florida. I say Boston, Vancouver, and Torts.
So Maurice has no merit from taking a team that was 8th in their conference to 2nd in their conference.
They were Stanley Cup finalists.
It doesn't matter what happens. It
It does matter. They were Stanley Cup finalists.
Oh,
You expect them to be up there.
Okay. So you win trophies in the playoffs now. Okay.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean,
One big
Boston-
Yeah, there is a big trophy to be won there.
Yeah, but apparently you win. You win regular season trophies because of the playoffs.
Well, no, but you earn the right to be a top 3 candidate for Coach of the Year. You're coaching a team that never expected to be there. You've coached them to a .585 win percentage. So
No, you expected them to be there. You kept telling it was the Tort effect. You started last year on that.
Yeah, but the year before, not last year, but the year before, didn't Florida finish President Trophy winners, or was that the year prior?
Yes.
to that?
Yeah, it was the year before.
Went
Yeah.
from 1 in the league to 8th because of injuries, blah blah blah. But anyways, to me, no, not a top 3, top 5 maybe, but not a finalist. Hats off to fucking Torts, man. But
Did he freeze?
I think Glenny's frozen, or else he's like he's put a really good blood on his face. I don't know.
That's a heck of a face.
Yeah, maybe Frank really shocked him or something.
hey, chat, can you still hear us? Because we don't know. Glenn controls this. Chat, say something.
Oh, Glenn's out, and then he's gonna come back, maybe.
I'm trying to see on the Twitch. Are we still on? Oh, all right. So Glenn's a big old loser. He's not here. He can't hear us. All right, Eric, you want to say something about Glenn? This is your chance.
No, he can be nice. That's all I can say. He's gonna come back anytime soon.
Yeah, but he won't hear it. He's not going to re-listen to it. All right, Ryan, stepfather, say something.
You're the devil, Frank. You're the devil.
I see people saying Knobloch, but no, not Knobloch. I mean, I don't want to be as harsh as boiled egg, but yeah, they're a cup favorite now, playing like a cup favorite. So
I said talk about Glenn, not talk about the chat room.
I don't know. We lost Glenny. So
hey, how about that Super Bowl?
Yeah, his heartbeat went up because his Torts crush. He couldn't handle the critique, man.
Oh, wait. He's just texted us. We probably have to sign off.
What?
He says he's lost the internet.
Back.
Oh, he's back.
Oh, he's back. There we go.
That's what you get with satellite internet in the rural areas is if the satellite is just out of alignment, then we lose you for a minute. But yeah, we're back here. Okay.
We just, not that we're really, but were we live when you went away, or did you take everybody with you?
No, we were live. Yeah.
Oh, good. I hope people didn't hear us.
Oh. The stream
I only said nice things, laptop hound. I only said nice things.
Okay. I'm gonna have to watch the replay.
I tried to get them to trash you. I'm the only one that trashed you. Your son-in-law, he talked about people commenting in the chat room, and Eric said you were nice. Blah blah blah. Nobody wants, but I trashed you big time because you weren't around.
I said you could be nice. Let's not get crazy.
Well, see, and I can just remove Frank from the video. There you go. That's what happens, Frank. That's what happens. You're in timeout, buddy. Timeout.
Jesus.
Oh my.
Okay. Well, Frank just left.
Oh no.
So maybe he'll lose internet too. I don't know. All right. Well, we'll continue on here, and hopefully Frank will be back here. Let's go and talk a little bit about the point leaders. Connor McDavid, 71 points now, 89 points is the leader with Kucherov, who has surpassed McKinnon again. They're going back and forth. Pasternak, 75
all
points.
that energy he saved at the All-Star break.
Yeah, exactly. Kucherov, yeah. Now he's going hard. Again, no real surprises, no up and comers here in the points race. Frank, you're back.
Hey, Frank's back.
You didn't see me in the chat?
No.
Oh, I wrote a message. Oops. Where did I go?
Who are you, Britney Spears or what? Okay, so we're talking about the points leaders again. Usual suspects that we've seen. Connor McDavid, number 4 now, so creeping his way up to that possible Art Ross, 18 points away.
Another fake news for all of you.
Fake news. The McDavid winning the Art Ross.
Still, so oof. So
okay, next story is a story that all you Toronto Maple Leaf fan out there will love. Because it was a hockey play, right? It was a hockey play. But before we talk about the controversial empty net goal, I found this and I thought it was funny. I don't know if you guys have seen this before, but here are some ideas.
I saw it.
for Ridley Gregg's next empty net goal. So we'll take the volume off.
Well, this one is the best. The Michigan is on an empty net.
All right. So yeah, a lot of memes, a lot of jokes going around about that. Again, controversial play by many. Let's watch the real play here of what took place. So empty net, Ottawa looking to hold off the Maple Leafs, and this happens. And of course, Mr. Riley goes over and says, "That is not the code, my friend. That is not the code." Well, let's go to our Maple Leaf fan first. And Fred, old man Fred, give us your take on how this is all played out. Controversy, suspension. What do you think?
Well, I think, the suspension is because it's in the last whatever seconds or what have you. And I'm hoping it's not much, but it was you know what? If you don't want Ottawa doing this, score more goals. It's a really simple, I got a real simple solution. Stop being losers and score more goals. And that's all you have to do. Suck it up, Buttercup. This is the same city that celebrated a bat flip that was untraditional and all that kind of stuff. They had no trouble. So no, I think this is, well, I don't like it, and there's sometimes when I'm like, yeah, you can't, there is some traditions, AKA that puke in Florida who doesn't like to fight and turtles. That's unacceptable. But in this situation, I just think, you know what, let the kid slap his little winner in. That's great. I think it was stupid on Riley's part. Everybody stopped skating. You should have, like Nylander, I thought he was going to, I don't know, go to the bench at this point. Like he didn't even look like he was skating back at all. So no effort, and I don't blame them. I mean, he was pretty much gone. But come on, let him go. Like it's just so stupid. And so yeah, I mean, whatever. It was, call it classless, call it whatever, but I think it's going to cost them. And it's, now we're looking at, I haven't heard anything, and if somebody's got an update, that's great. But
No, it's not out yet.
So I mean, it could be as high as over 5, and I'm like, first off, I think
in person is it can go over 5, 6 and above.
So I don't know. I think it's dumb. I think he did hit his shoulder first. I didn't think it was really vicious, but yeah.
What's he deserve? What's he deserve, old man Fred? I'm going to ask all the panel as you discuss it. Okay. How many games you think he deserves to get suspended? If you are
I think they should make it. I think 3.
3 games.
Yeah.
All right, Finn, you're up. What do you think about the play? You're, a younger guy. Younger guys are a little bit more, showboaty in the league. So, what do you think about this?
That's Mr. Young Gun to you.
Mr. Finn the shark, Finn the tank, or no, what do we call you for your predictions?
Jimmy the Greek.
Finn the Greek. Yeah.
No, I mean it's no secret that I'm not a Leafs fan. I hate the Leafs. The first ever episode we ever did of this, I talked about how the Leafs were terrible and the media, blah blah blah. Anyway, he shot the puck into the net. I applaud Riley for having emotion in this moment, but he crossed the line. So I think this is better than not having any emotion towards it. But it's like the other. I mean, I don't know. When in the emotion of the game, when I don't know how long Ottawa was defending in their zone, and they finally got a breakout and they score. But the emotions in the game are we'll never know what they are. We've never played. Nobody here has ever played. So if you want to go down the ice and slap the puck into the net as hard as you can because you defended 6-on-5 for 2.5 minutes, then do it. If you want to come over and give the guy a stinky glove for doing it, or try to coax him into a fight, do it. But don't bring this stick into the face.
How many games?
It's 4.
Okay. You think he should get or he will get? Is it how many he deserves or how many he will?
I think he'll get 5 to 6, but I think it should be 3 to 4.
All right. And Frank.
Pierre Turgeon scored in 1993. Got hit from behind, not in the head, by Dale Hunter after celebrating a game-winning goal. And he got 21 games. Never hit him in the head. This slap shot was not, frustration. It was because a big majority of the fans were cheering for Toronto. So this was Greg, I think, or Pinto, one of the two, saying fuck you to the Toronto fans in the stand that were encouraging Toronto on home ice. Mm-hmm. That's why he did the slap shot. So understandable when you get cheered against on home ice to get fuck you. This is a Battle of Ontario. Nothing. See, we'll see it here. It's not an it's look at that. And then look.
Yeah.
Didn't hit him. He hit him in the body. Okay, he went flying, but it doesn't matter. This guy aimed for the head. If you look, the Ottawa player went like this. That's why he hit him before, but it's inexcusable.
But Turgeon was out after this. He was injured. He got injured on this
the injury doesn't fucking matter. If I shoot you,
it fucking matters to me, I'll tell you. It fucking matters to me. So there you go.
So anyway.
It's not the same. Not the same. Not even close.
Not the same. Okay. Whatever.
Like, well, he was body checked. Hunter. I mean, anytime someone scores and any player comes up and acts against it, they deserve some sort of action against them. And
of course, I mean, nobody's expecting to get hit there. The good thing is Greg saw him at the last minute, so he put his shoulder up. That's why he hit the shoulder. But Riley was aiming for the head, so he's going to get suspended. He's going to get suspended more than 5 games. He's not going to get Dale Hunter's 21 game because Eric said it. In the NHL,
I don't think
it's not like the rule of law because, you know, trying to kill somebody, if you don't kill him, you're off. But he's going to get probably 8 games to teach him a lesson 10% of the year because you cannot have people getting jumped, getting hit when they don't expect it. They're celebrating. And that's why Turgeon got hit. He got injured because he was not expecting, was not bracing himself. So I think it's going to be 8 games. But he deserves more because it's a piece of shit move when somebody is scoring and turning. So we'll see. That's why it's in person. So it's not going to be below 5. I know George Parros doesn't make any sense in his rulings, but just because he called in person, it's going to be more than 5. Don't think it's going to be 2. If he was hesitating between 2, 3, and 4, he would have been on the phone hearing. So it's going to be in person. Toronto's already expecting it. One tweet that was very telling that I saw today, somebody tweeted, "Oh, I thought this type of shit wouldn't happen with Ryan on the team." Because something like that happened with Ryan Reeves, and he was said, if I was on that team, that would never happen on my watch, you know? And it's like, shut up. And he defended Riley. And he deserved it. Blah. Shut up. You're so fucking 1960s. You're a piece of shit that can't play hockey. You never did. So shut the fuck up, man. You were on the ice. It happened. Oh, he slap shot it in. But it had nothing to do with the Leafs. It had to do with the Leaf fans. And he was frustrated. Let him slap shot it. It's like the old school people saying the Michigan or whatever. They have a new name for it now. It's against the ethics of hockey. Shut up, fuck. The goal is to put the puck in the fucking net, period. No matter how. The guy can fucking lollipop it from whatever. It's like, no. The skills, players with skills will do shit that ordinary players can't do. And, accept it, move on. So I love the Michigan goals. I'm not like, this is like Torts when he was at ESPN said it's complete bullshit. I would rip his head off. If he was on my team, I would bench the guy. It's like, come on, man. We're in 2023. The same thing here. He was frustrated. He wanted to send a message. And it's a message to the Ottawa fans. Fill the fucking rink to support your own team type thing, So...
I'm just going to interrupt for a quick second. I wonder now. Okay, so let's and Frank makes some excellent points about how long he'll be gone and so on and so forth. So the next time the Leafs are down a goal, have an empty net, what stops somebody from going in and slapping that puck right in the net, just to say, "Screw you, Leafs"? Nothing's going to happen to anybody who does that. Am I correct? And so are the Leafs then going to not respond? Because we know if you respond, you'll get 8 games.
Don't respond. Like you said, score more goals than Ottawa.
Oh, no, you should have a response. You should go in there. Don't bring the stick towards the head, but definitely try to get a fight out of it.
But don't you think that every team, like why would the next team, who also hates the Leafs, not go in and do that every freaking time?
But like Ryan says, instead of hitting him, go in front of him and tell him to fight.
And give him a stinky glove, I guess. But
whatever. Don't hit him. Don't cross-check him in the fucking face. That's what he's trying to do.
I'd love to bring it back to the Oilers, but when they played Vegas and Vegas scored on the empty net, they celebrated like they won the freaking cup. But it's because of the emotion in the building. And I would have loved for somebody, Nurse, Kane, Perry, somebody to go down there and try to interrupt that. But nobody did.
But they did win the cup.
I don't know. I think a goal is a goal if it's legal, if it's a legal goal. I mean, I think the Michigan
it's a fuck you goal, but I don't think
so is the Michigan though. The Michigan's kind of like a showboaty, like screw you goal.
No, a Michigan is during the game. You're trying to get a goal, but this was a fuck you goal. But it wasn't a fuck you to the Maple Leafs. I'm telling you, it was a fuck you to everybody supporting the Leafs in Ottawa.
Yeah. I agree. That could be it too.
They spent all that.
City feels that.
No, but that shorthanded that Ryan talked about, they kept hearing "Go Leafs, go" in the stands. Go Leafs, go for them to score. So when he got the puck back, he went, "Fuck you, you fuckers! Go back home."
Can we go back to the Torch talk and how he should be coach of the year?
Oh my God.
What about, remember when Yakupov scored, I think it was an overtime winner against Los Angeles?
He scored a goal? He scored?
Yeah.
He scored the tying goal. He scored the tying goal in like the.
And then he swan dive basically down the ice, or Theo Fleury that did something similar in the playoffs. Is that, should guys go over and beat the crap out of them for celebrating a goal?
No. It's like the NFL, man. They don't want anybody. You call the NFL now the no fun league because you can't celebrate. And let the good players showboat, man. That's why they're good. They have the talent. That pisses me off, man. It's like Foligno.
I don't know.
The father. The father.
Every time Yakupov went back onto the ice for the rest of the career, he always heard about that slatted on the knees through center ice goal. So,
yeah.
He opened himself to ridicule, and he heard about it every single time he went on the ice.
Yeah, but Foligno, the father, with like Tiger Williams, who doesn't remember his celebration? He was Tiger Williams
with him, though. They were afraid.
He was Tiger Williams. You didn't fuck around with him, but that was cool to watch. when you see these celebrations that are original, everybody's upset with Jake Wallman these days because he does the greedy every time he scores a goal. He had a penalty shot in overtime. He did it again. His teammates yelled at him in the dressing room.
What about when Ovechkin scored that 50th goal that one year and put his stick on the ice and pretended it was
so
hot?
Yeah.
We all remember it. It's memorable. Let players with talent or less talented have their fun when they score.
But even Ovechkin's teammates didn't like that.
Who cares?
Yeah. We need more Rowanix and Tigers in the game, not less. Who was that? Was it the Dallas player like just a couple nights ago that scored a goal and started dancing or something? Who do you remember who that was?
Wasn't that Jake Wallman doing the giddy?
Was it?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was a penalty shot in overtime, but he scored and he did the giddy a couple of maybe 2 months, a month and a half ago, and his teammates were pissed off because don't have any fun, dude. We want to be like the NFL, boring. No, it's like, come on, shut up, man. But at least has the character to do it again. Penalty shot in overtime, defenseman, and then boom, he scored and he did the giddy. He goes, I don't fucking care. I'll celebrate the way I want to celebrate.
Okay, good conversation, guys. Again, that was kind of the big moment of the week was that, and it still has to play out. So Finn is saying 3 games. Old man Fred saying no. Finn is saying 4 games. Old man Fred 3. I think he's going to get 5, and Frank's going with 8. So we'll see what happens there. Okay, pundit predictions. Let's go to our game of the week. Fussmucker, if you're in the house still, you are the only one that predicted in chat that Vegas would win. We were talking about the potential game, a record-setting games won in a row, which the Oilers lost to Vegas by a 3-1 score, empty netter by Vegas. McDavid was not happy with his expression on the bench. And only Fussmucker and I got it right. We were the only ones that went Vegas. Oh, and Frank too. Frank got it right. He predicted Vegas 4-3. So points for all of us. Finn now has 6. Frank has moved up to, he's got 5 with Old Man Fred. I've got 4. And Boiled Egg and Fussmucker have the chat lead so far. So Finn, are you over it? Was it depressing for you for a while?
Now I can just get back to playing hockey and stop having to hear about the streak all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
it was fun while it lasted, but I mean, I don't know.
And then they lose 4-0 to the Kings.
Yeah, but you can argue that a couple of both of these losses that they've had recently, they played better than some of the wins during the streak. So they had some good fortune during that streak, and now the coach can actually coach some stuff because they're losing again.
Yeah, but the problem with coaching is when you have 21 games in 42 days, you got mandatory days off and all that. Not a lot of time to practice, so they're gonna have to do it on the fly. And I can't believe we talked about the standings, but you realize the Maple Leafs are in the wild card spot.
Yeah, they were in the wild card spot last week too.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, but they went back in the regular, but then they fell back out. They're in the wild card.
Well,
who would have believed it?
We never talked about the impact of Riley being gone from 3 to 8 games, whatever it might be, on the Leafs.
They're tied with Detroit. If you would have made a bet that Valentine's Day, let's pretend they're both going to have the same result, that the Leafs and Detroit would be tied in the standings, everybody said, what kind of crack are you smoking, buddy?
Or that Philadelphia would be ahead of Toronto in the standings.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah. No, that's not crack, man. That's like mushrooms from your neighbors in BC.
Well, I don't know if it's mushrooms they do in BC, but it is definitely something that they enjoy over there.
All that to say, Toronto better get its act together. But unfortunately, Nylander is doing nothing since the signature, since his big contract, etc. And we all said they're badly built, and they just went all in with the badly built team, So
yeah.
And now the guy who built the badly built team is going to go all in with Pittsburgh.
I know.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go to our game of the week predictions for this week. Again, got a lot of games on the schedule. Frank is catching up to the monkey from TSN. For those of you that are in Canada, know the TSN. But Frank, once again, you were right. You got Vegas to beat Edmonton, one of the very few. Let's go and pick out a game of the week. Fussmucker, you were the only one on in chat that got the game right. Fuss, do you want to pick a game of the week for us? Lots of good ones to choose from. We've covered Edmonton a lot. We've done a few Vegas. If you're around, Fuss, or anyone in chat, give us a game that you think might be a good one to call. Who do we got?
This Garnett guy is a Blues fan. I've never seen him before. He goes, try being a Blues fan.
Wait, at least you can remember your last cup. I mean,
that was just let's not talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. Don't be depressed being a Blues fan. Try being a Leafs fan.
Rangers Islanders
in Meatloaf Stadium.
Sunday. It's the
actual stadium name.
Yeah, it's outdoor game on Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay,
but is it actually called Meatloaf Stadium?
No, it's the Giant Stadium. It's in the Meadowlands.
Okay, well, we did the Islanders recently with Patrick Waugh in Montreal, but I mean, if you want to go to an island, I think we should pick
it's New York.
It's Columbus, San Jose, like that. Who knows who's going to win that one? That could be
who cares who's going to win that one?
Winnipeg, Vancouver. How about that one?
That one's interesting. Is that a Saturday night game? Yeah,
that is Saturday. Yeah.
He meant MetLife Stadium, not Meatloaf. There's an extra letter that was. Sometimes, a letter changing the whole meaning. Hey, leave it New York, okay? You told him to pick. It's an outdoor game. Yeah, he gets to pick. Don't try to replace his pick.
Did he pick? I didn't think he picked. I thought
he did pick. He says Stadium Series, Rangers, Isles in the MetLife Stadium on Sunday.
Okay,
there you are. Fussmucker's picking our game. Rangers, Islanders. Frank, what's your score? Chat.
2-1. 2-1.
Don't just say New York.
2-1. 2-1 Rangers.
Okay. 2-1 New York Rangers. Ryan, Finn.
Oh, fucking jeez. Shit.
It's tough, man. That's a good pick of the week.
4-2 Islanders.
4-2 Islanders. Okay, 1 Rangers, 1 Islanders. Old man Fred.
4-1 Rangers.
4-1 Rangers. I'm gonna go 4-3 Rangers. So
right, you just copied Fussmucker. That's why you looked up at your screen, eh? I see what you do.
Well, it's either copy Fussmucker or Finn because they have the lead here. So I'm going with 4-3 Rangers. So chat, we got 4-2 Rangers for Boiled Egg, 3-1 Islanders for Pop Stongoria, 4-3 in overtime for Fussmucker. And
he is a copycat, Fuss. He's a big copycat.
That's a big one. Well,
and Boiled Egg takes exception of you copying Fuss because he goes, "Hey, I'm in the lead. You should copy me."
Okay. I'm going to go 5-3 Rangers now. Empty netter. So there you go. No copying. Okay. It is that time where it is open mic for our last couple minutes here of the show. If you have anything that you kind of want to rant on with the NHL, here is your chance for a minute or two. We'll start with Finn. Anything you want to express? Or if not, just your closing comments.
I want to hear what the other rants are before I make my closing comments. I know old man Fred has something to say. You can see ever since the beginning of the show, he's been itching.
I think it's just because I'm not having my regular bowel movements. Maybe that's why.
Old man Fred.
You know what? I suppose if I'm going to rant, it would be a rant about tradition and things like that. So we go back to that Leaf thing. Like I said, it's funny how sometimes, yes, I really am a traditionalist, and maybe this is more of a closing comment. But sometimes I'm not. Like, and there's some things that really bug me. Like I say, if you're gonna poke and do all that kind of stuff, you got to drop and go. Sometime I really believe that, but in this case, this slap shot or whatever doesn't matter. I wish Riley didn't do a damn thing on it. I don't think it's offensive. It's like whatever, good. You just won your Stanley Cup, I guess. Roll your eyes and move on. I really think the Leafs are going to be open to a lot of crap over the next little while. Why would you not? When you go in there, at least fake like you're going to take a slap shot as a ha-ha. We remember back not that long ago, Sundin didn't drop his stick. And there was a little bit of a joke there in Ottawa where he was going to throw his stick up in the stands or something. I can't remember who it was. But so I'm talking a few years ago, and you do get bugged. And it's going to be, you watch the next game, somebody's going to go in on an open net and pretend to slap it. And you just opened yourself up to that. So, yeah, a bit of a rant to say you were stupid. And I hope Frank isn't right because he's the one who predicted the highest. But we don't know. We'll see what happens.
Okay. And hide your kids, cover their ears. Frank the Tank has got a little bit of a rant. Well, maybe just a little bit of a message he wants to send along here. Go ahead, Frank. The floor is yours.
Message, rant. Just want to address these fucking idiots. That's where the F-bombs are starting. In Columbus, that made a joke on Liney's mental break from the team by making a joke about suicide. So the B&B Roundtable podcast in Columbus, you can go fuck yourselves. There's things you don't joke about, which is suicide, rape, murder. There's a whole bunch of topics you don't fucking make any attempt to joke about. Patrick Liney called them out. For those that didn't hear, this fucking douchebag was ranting on why Columbus sucked and all that. And then he said Liney tried to do the Remington retirement. And Remington, for those that don't know, is a fucking gun. So they can go fuck themselves. To me, that's fucking unacceptable. Good thing is there's a GoFundMe, whatever. They're raising money for mental health, $29 in Liney's his number, whatever, to donate $20 at a time. But this fuckwad said that, and the other 3 or 4 people on the podcast laughed, and instead of calling this fucking idiot. So if any of you guys ever do something like that, I'm going to call you out right away. I don't give a fuck. So the Black Aces podcast is not about clickbaits or whatever. We're going to call out BS when we see it. And I'll repeat, the B&B Roundtable podcast in Columbus, you can go fuck yourselves from now till eternity.
Okay. Well said. And yeah, I mean, so much social media out there. Everyone's got their own little podcast and opinion. Is this a big podcast? I'm not familiar with it, Frank. Is this like a club sponsored podcast or anything like that?
Don't know. I read about it like a couple hours before our podcast. That's why I texted you saying I want to rant about this. I have no fucking clue. Hopefully they're wannabes, little pieces of shit, like the Philadelphia guy blaming Hayes and Hayes getting death threats on the trade, with Drysdale and Gauthier, saying, oh, he had his footprint, fingerprints, all of it. Some of these guys, man, they just fucking open their mouth, but you don't fucking joke about suicide, rape, murder, whatever. You don't joke about it ever. It doesn't take fucking. It takes two brain cells that touch each other to fucking figure that out. Fucking moron.
Well, Finn, do you have anything? Now
Fussmucker says all 8 are. All 8 of their listeners can go fuck themselves too. Way to go, Fuss.
Finn, anything?
I got nothing.
Okay.
Pretty hard to follow that. That was pretty powerful.
No, I mean, I don't know.
I'm not following that with nothing.
The world is full of clickbait. So, I mean, I see it all the time on Twitter, Facebook, or X and Facebook and any other thing. And I'm every time I think of starting the argument, I go, no, you post on it and it's going to create traction. So I just ignore those people. I don't talk about them. I don't confront them because bad news is bad publicity is still publicity. So I actively avoid them. Just like the one guy that had McDavid out of his top 5 for Hart voting. Nobody talked about the other 100 and some odd reporters that had McDavid in the top 5 of Hart voting, and everybody talked about the one guy who didn't. And all his articles and everything got read for the next 2 weeks. So, yeah. I don't know. I just stay away.
I want people to go hear the bullshit. But the good thing is, like, because Liney mentioned it, like Chris Johnson, all these guys that are on Sportsnet, TSN, etc., they're commenting like Chris Johnson said, this is utter garbage. Patrick, sending you my best. Take the time you need to do what's best for you and your family, blah, blah, blah. Like, the guy's on a timeout. It's not a Dylan Dubé timeout. It's a real mental health problem timeout. And to make that fucking joke, trashing the Columbus play, it's a punk ass move, period.
Okay, well, I think that's we'll end on that. We'll come back next week and see what happens this week with the NHL. Lots of games to be played. We got our game of the week. We've got a suspension probably coming down tomorrow.
Are we doing one next week?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're not. No podcast next week because of Family Day. Yeah, no podcast on Family Day.
I want Family Day. What the hell is this bullshit holiday?
Move to Alberta then, and you will.
It's Ontario too. It's like my whole company is off except fucking me. I'm on the computer. Can't talk to anybody. They're all off.
Okay, we've got the One Man Podcast with Frank the Tank next Monday. Tune in to Frank the Tank.
A Black Ace podcast with singular.
All right, panel. We'll keep in touch and we'll figure out what we want to do, but it definitely won't be next Monday night. Thanks, guys, for the contributions tonight. Have a wonderful week. Enjoy the hockey chat. Thank you again for participating and supporting us every Monday night. We'll see you next episode.